For many gamers, the original Gears of War was the first Xbox 360 game that really showed off what Microsoft's box of tricks could do. Looking at the franchise now, it's difficult to imagine it as the plucky young upstart, a new IP that broke the rules and built some new ones of its own. But that is what it did, and now, 6 years later, with a critically acclaimed trilogy under its belt, the series stands at a key point in its life. A wave of new hardware is about to break, gamers' tastes are changing, and cover shooting has long since lost its freshness. Enter Gears of War Judgment, a game whose title noticeably lacks a number, its subtitle suggesting a spin-off more than an evolution. But things are not as simple as they seem, and Judgment is daring to do more than you might expect. Unlike previous games in the series, which were exclusively developed by Epic Games, Judgment is a co-production. People Can Fly, creators of the Painkiller games and the bloody good fun of Bulletstorm, have been drafted in to bring their particular old-school sensibilities to the game. And it shows. Forget heavily scripted set pieces, Gears of War Judgment is an adrenaline-fueled arcade shooter masquerading as a AAA blockbuster. Part of this masquerade is the game's story, which sees series veterans Baird and Cole, as well as newcomers Hendrik and Paddock, on trial for war crimes, while Locust Horde burn their way through the city of Halvo Bay. It's a simple framing device, with each of the game's sections taking the form of a character's testimony, flashing back and filling in the events that led to the trial. And filling in is exactly what Judgment is doing, with the game slotting in just before the first Gears, as well as tying up some of the loose ends from Gears of War 3. It does this through Aftermath, a more conventionally structured Gears chapter that fits neatly into the third game. Now, this may all sound a little bit messy, a little bit confused and bordering on the incoherent, but that is exactly what Judgment isn't. What Judgment is, however, is a thrilling co-op arcade shooter. Levels are now tightly designed arenas, ready to be filled with whatever terrifying mix of locusts the game's new adaptive spawning system decides on. Challenges are thinly disguised as declassifications, adding enemies, modifying your weapons, or flipping scenarios on their head. And behind all of this is a new ranking system that sees you earning stars and XP to spend on a whole host of gaudy skins and unlockables. It's in this arcade-style setting that Gears of War Judgment's combat truly shines. You'll be dive rolling, road running, and backpedaling all over the place. Forget the standoff combat of other cover shooters. Judgment's gloriously OTT battlegrounds feel closer to Smash TV or Contra than they do to its duck and cover peers. It's an energy that extends into the game's multiplayer, which benefits from the injection of pace. Team Deathmatch in particular, making a much requested comeback, is transformed into a multi-tiered mashup of bloody executions and cheeky grenade tagging. Overrun, the game's Locust vs COG tactical tower defense mode, is equally chaotic, although it does reward well-marshalled troops. In fact, most of Judgment's multiplayer modes seem to be designed around tactical play, with the game's new maps offering a more complex set of bridges, walkways and overpasses than the series has seen before. It's all part of skewing the series towards a more sophisticated multiplayer title, with the new character progression system doing a good job of supporting this ambition. Whether you play co-op, campaign or multiplayer, you'll earn XP, unlocks and weaponry, meaning that every chainsaw kill is a single step in the bloody rise to player prominence. Gears of War Judgment is not the spin-off it appears to be. Instead, it's the culmination of 6 years' worth of gameplay improvements, weapon balancing, and enemy design. It's also a cheeky change of direction, the move of an energetic IP away from blockbuster scripting towards player-powered madness. It seems that Gears of War may not have forgotten its youthful origins just yet.